You see here, hi guys and gals. Well, today another beer vlog. Yes, I just saw actually earlier. Andy Sofekwick had made a whiskey vlog again. He was talking about different whiskeys, as you can imagine, and a few I tasted, and one was called a Bowmore, which I have here. My brother brought me some from trips when he came over and got into duty free. I'll take that out, and it was really quite good. But that was not the idea of this vlog. Today, a Luzern beer, and I bought that one at the time because at first when I saw the sign, I thought it was the I Love You. It's almost the I Love You. The I Love You is this one, isn't it? So the person's got his finger like that, so I don't actually know if that means something else. But you know what? For me, this is going to be the I Love You sign. Okay, there's other ways, I guess. I mean, there's like, no, I love you. And yeah, and this one, the double I love you, I guess. Okay, so when I had bought this beer, actually in Luzern, there was a whole series of bottles. I only bought one, but and each one had a different sign on it. So I couldn't, I actually have to do a bit of research. I wasn't able to find from what was written here there was anything special why they had this series, and I didn't think of asking. Anyway, it's Winterbock beer and 6.4% alcohol. So let's see. My good old Kansas City bottle opener, the best in the world. And let's see. Into a Prince Edward Island mug. Okay, as to be expected, it's a dark beer. There we are. Put it that way. Okay, let's try this thing. If you like this type, kind of caramel notes, we could say toasted, roasted, whatever, you know, what you're expecting. Stays on the mouth. Yeah. The mouth keeps the taste. It really is nice. I mean, it lingers there. Maybe just a touch sweet, as some of these beers are, but not too sweet. You know, I would say to spoil the taste. It's a real nice winter beer. Okay, let's because Luzern already has had its carnival, and I don't know. Maybe it is. I love. Can anybody tell me that? I mean, what does this sign actually mean? I mean, it's not the Vulcan sign, is it? The Vulcan sign is something like that, isn't it? Right. Or is it supposed to be like that? I'm not quite certain. I haven't got my Spockanese up to date. So, what the vlog about? Not always that much. I mean, I'm just, last time I vlogged with a beer vlog, I believe I talked about income tax, and I've done all the electronic stuff, printed it out. It's going to be off by the end of this week. Photocopied, or scanned actually, all the documents. If you've noticed something about the way governments are passing on, government schools and so on, how they're passing on the price, I think I've said that before, but you know, you used to get all the forms. Now they'll send you basically a cover slip, and you're going to print it all out, so you're paying for all the paper. Companies or other used to always send 2 copies of the documents. I mean, one for yourself and one for tax purposes. Now, most of them, not all, but most of them, just send one. Why? Less expense for them, more expense for you. But it's funny, nothing seems to go down in price. If anything, it's the contrary. yeah, so that is one thing, isn't it? I mean, in this age of electronics and leisure, we're all supposed to have less to do, less work, less complication. Sometimes it seems to be exactly the contrary. Yeah, we had. This is good. We had a big vote in Switzerland a while back. Switzerland is we call it, I guess, a semi-direct democracy. And most things are voted on. And I mean, that's different, of course, to countries like Canada and America. I mean, where you elect the government and then they just go on and do what they want, more or less. Well, over here, everything comes up. Somebody's on Skype, it seems. What was that little noise? When there was an initiative that was brought to for limiting immigration, and Switzerland has about 27%, around that, I guess, 27% foreigners. I don't count as a foreigner, by the way. I'm Swiss, so I'm not in that 27%. But there was a time when I was in that percentage. Now, the thing is that there's two types, in a way, maybe more, but there's often two types of foreigners in people's minds, at least over here, is the ones that come with specialized degrees and so on, and that for other countries it's a brain drain, and for the country where you're going to, well, you're a specialized worker, which they need. And then there's the non-specialized workers, which are very often the migrants, and they're doing all the jobs that we don't want to do most of the time. That's the same pretty well everywhere. And I forgot, then there's a third class, and that's probably where a lot of the politics come. The third class are the refugees, immigrants, people basically that have either had to leave their country for, let's say, war reasons, or have left for economic reasons and then tend to make it up. I mean, I'm not trying to get into politics, that's just the way it's kind of looking into it. So, of course, the fact is, I'm not trying to get into politics, but I am, because a lot of the votes and the vote propagandas go on the last class, which is the ones that have really, you can say, nothing to say in the whole thing, and most of the time they're not even allowed to work. So it's I know that is the whole thing, is that they become so-called social cases until something works out for them eventually. So Switzerland voted on that, like limiting, and that means limiting borders and crossings and stuff. I mean, it's rather complicated. I'm not going to get into the whole thing, but 50.3%. And I don't remember exactly what was the percentage. It was maybe, could be 65, I'm not quite certain. Percent of people voted, something like that. But still, I mean, it was like a few tens of thousands difference. But that's just the way it is here. I mean, the people have spoken. Now, a lot of countries have said, like, oh my goodness, what's going to happen? Well, the thing is that governments have to make laws, and things don't change overnight, but the reactions do. I mean, like the European government, or the European Union, almost the next day said, bugger you guys, no Swiss students are going to come into our, they're not going to be taking part of these programs anymore, and we're not going to let you guys get into European research programs, and. And of course, the Swiss do get pretty worked up at that, because whenever they want something, I was going to just say the Europeans, the hands out pretty quickly. Oh, Switzerland's a rich country, they can give us everything. Yeah, I mean, it's one of these things, isn't it? I mean, culture differences, culture shocks. Isn't it something how it creates loads of emotions? I mean, if any of you want to have a look at how things are going in other countries in that respect, go look in Quebec with the Charter of Values. And that's another hornet's nest. What is Mr. Rogers? Who was it that was saying? I love. No, it was Barney. Goodness sakes. I was mixing up Mr. Rogers and Barney. Is that blasphemous somehow? It was I love you, and so on. Yeah. I guess that is probably the whole thing, is that who loves who in these things. No politicians seem to love each other. But, no, they don't love each other, they love themselves. And on such great words, maybe I should stop, and maybe we should ponder. That's what I was going to bring up, is that immigration laws, culture shock. Has YouTube helped us to get over that, or has YouTube, Facebook, and other things helped us to make it worse? What do you think? Not quite certain on that one. I think maybe it's helped us to be more accepting, but not always. Okay, DC signing off. I gotta go get back and sort out those taxes things. Take care.